Hello, I'd like to welcome back to Just Cause 2, where today we're going to conquer a mountain. Because that's what I'm going to make the title,
Here
unless
we
something
are.
spectacular
Thanks
happens.
for flying air shielding.
We're going to conquer every one of these little spots that's connected to the mountain, as well as this one, because it's, I guess, kind of on the same track. It's close enough that I counted. I'm not going to include this one. This one is included. Like, this one is on the... It's a floodgate. It will be kind of double on. It'd be a double on... It seems that my tickly throat did not permit me to make a horrible joke. Oh no, I got a tickly throat. Oh man, I'm so used to space engineers where velocity is your fall damage. I gotta get used to this. I've really gotten the hang of space engineers, and Terraria is also high on my schematic lately. So you might be able to expect a few videos on that if you like that kind of stuff. That's great. Although, truth be told, my Space Engineers video got... It's probably the most participated video. It's got 2 likes and 2 dislikes. And it's got 23 views. I think it's because it's Space Engineers and everyone's liking that game. And because I didn't think of it at the time, but the title is somewhat deceptive since it's called Space Engineers Update. And I decided to edit in channel updates so that everyone was clear it's not the game that's updated. Or it's not about the update of the game. And I imagine that's where the dislikes came from. People were like, oh man, this isn't an update of the game, and I'm sorry, dudes. And or dudettes. I still think the term dudettes is somewhat of a forced gender ability. Like, we've got genderless definitions. Why can't we just pretend the dude is that? Dude isn't specifically male, it's just anyone. I'm gonna give this guy a heart attack.
Talk about
Literally. Ooh, I like a good joke. That's a great joke. I think I'm gonna chuckle and chortle. There's one more thing that needs exploding, but what? Oh, the water tower. There's still one more thing that needs exploding? Really? Really? I'd say propaganda van. Because those are very annoyingly common, but I wouldn't give it 100%. I know this area isn't my cup of tea. You know what I also really like about this game? Is that you're never told not to kill civilians. You're explicitly told to kill the Panawian government, but they have no problem with you gunning down poor, innocent people. Just to give you an inclination that this is in fact a game made by the most horrible American people. Or designed for the most horrible American people. What did I miss? Oh, Jesus fuck. It's a Transformer, isn't it? It's a robot in the skies. Fuck Transformers. I hate those things. They're such little cheats when it comes to the collectible percentage. Because they're hard to find. Oh no, it's a propaganda van. Told you it'd be a fucking propaganda van. It's always a motherfucking propaganda van. It's always a goddamn propaganda van.
We have reports of violence, sir. Report to location immediately.
Do you wonder why I do that? It's a much more effective strategy since you gain speed much faster and you'll be out of the fray before you can start accelerating. Accelerating takes a while with the parachute. You might have noticed that it's kind of near lethal to start accelerating in the middle of a firefight. Oh man. With a little bit of luck, I might not make that horrible joke that I'm sponsored by someone that isn't actually sponsoring me. Because I think there are legal inclinations to that. But I think that slander has to be completely intentional to bring down the image of a company based on non-truthful facts. As in, you're saying, oh, well, you know what Fanta does? They grind down the brains of Asian children in order to get the juicy brain juice. Oh, that sounds gross. They do that in Asia, though. I'm sure that they have some dishes that are just brains. But that's slander, because you're implying that Fanta, for one, is selling people brain juice, which I don't think is legal. And that's probably something that would have gotten caught by now. If not, by like, just the people transporting it, I'm sure the people who were supposed to carry out the checkups are like, what the f? There is a tiny baby child brain in this. There's no bribe big enough to make me not say that this is just disgusting. Can you imagine that? Finding out that your favorite beverage is made out of baby brains? That'd be slanderous, if it were true. If it weren't true. I just spit on my screen. Delicious. Oh man, I keep smearing it out. No, stop smearing it out. Just get off. Oh my god, it's filled with chocolate. So it's like all colored and goopy. And I'm gonna have to get a fucking paper towel. Well, I was gonna clean up my computer fan today anyway. You know, put the good old vacuum machine next to it. Suck out that delicious dust. I'll probably clean up the screen too. There's a few other spots on it as well, so it's...
Try to communicate now.
You know, I wonder who says that. Who is the guy that says intruder alert when everyone's dead? Does he lock himself in like a little cubby and he's like, oh no, oh no, oh no, spooky. And the helicopter pieces out. I want to get this Colonel Papa now. This Colonel Papadam. Do you know what Papadam means? You don't know what a Papadam is. I don't even know what a Papadam is. Sounds delicious, though. Man, I keep saying things that sound delicious. I didn't think I had the Cassius, but I do. Papadam, Papadam. Papadum, papadum. Tunka truk, tunka Joe's trucks.
You there?
Enemy sighted. All available units advance.
God fucking damn it.
Hands up! He's out in your front.
There! Ooh, sexy, I'm a professional hitman now. Guess what I got? A promotion! Aw, man, what the hell's with my heat bar? I suddenly have 2 heat. Well, I guess I did blow up some dudes. That does warrant 2 heat bars, in my opinion. You know what? Today's episode is brought to you by Line Pop Chalk. Do you even have that? It's like a Malteser, but made with... But there's like the line bits in it. I don't like them as much as Maltesers, actually. It's because the dough's kind of silly. And the line parts gets in the way more than it accentuates. And don't forget to always aim down to get that speed. Because every bit of altitude is a bit of acceleration. Only turned upwards. So turn it back down and you get extra acceleration. Dunker trucks, Dunker trucks. Uncle Joe's trucks. It sounds like an advertisement for pedophilia. That's delicious. It's exactly what I want on my channel, is the implication. That's horrible. But you know what they say. If you're just gonna whine and mope about things and don't get a positive, proactive attitude, you might as well just be, you know, a supporter of it all. I'm not kidding. If you're gonna be a mopey crybaby and you're just gonna mope about it instead of actually doing something, like, I don't care. Then just stop moping about it. You're not fixing or doing anything. You're just letting the problem sizzle in its own sizzly goodness. Like a very old French fry. And everyone's like, but the French fry's still in the fryer. And you like, don't bother to get it out. And like fuck you. No matter what you do, this situation is going to persist. Then again, you're not making it worse either, so how about you just remove yourself from the equation? But you could say, well, I'm making awareness. But awareness is one thing, but if you want to make people aware, make them aware in a way that makes them proactive. Don't just make them aware by saying, hey, look, this problem exists, so now go be sad about it. That's not going to help anyone. They're not going to tell anyone if they're sad about it. They're going to be like, oh man, I'm so sad about this problem, I don't know if I want to help out anymore. In fact, I'm not going to bother anyone with it, lest they become sad too. Little baby brains are getting turned into mulch. Ah, this is a base? I thought this would be some sort of... Yeah, this isn't the kind of place I would have estimated would have been a military base. I thought it would be a communications outpost. Because normally... Oh my fuck. Of course it had to be! Of fucking course it had to be... It had to be a godforsaken... Yep! Yep! It had to be a biogas canister. Which means I have to dig my way into the belly of the beast and get fucked.
I'll do anything. Just don't shoot me. Finish him. Attack.
Oh my god. I wonder about the clarity over distance. You know, people that live in mountains, they transfer messages not by actually shouting words, they whistle towards one another. And this works really well because high-frequency tones apparently work better in mountainous areas. So if they just whistle to one another, the message is much clearer when it arrives. Now this kind of begs the question, how... Wow, what the heck? Where'd these guys come from? Well, it doesn't really matter, does it? At the end of the day, they're all cannon fodder to me. To a degree, to an extent. I'm not gonna be that guy. Yeah. My point is, how far could a shout still be comprehensible? At what point do we suffer from data loss? Oh my god, I'm such an... You know when you're an IT nerd, when you know about the principles of compression, and you're like, how much is the data loss on this? Why is he on top of it? Okay, I'm kind of risking an air support here, and coming out of that base with an air support, not a great idea. By which I mean, it's probably going to kill me, because it's an air support. I like how they blow themselves up. That's always the jolliest of moments, is when they decide it's a fantastic idea. Yeah, but I do wonder what the loss ratio of sound is over distance. I also wonder how large the loss of information is when you're not actively listening. So you're standing in the street, someone shouts something at you across a massive distance. How much information is lost in this process if you never pay attention? If you were just like, what sounds did he make? What did he try to tell you? And you're like, I don't know. How much could you be able to recall? Oh my gosh. Guess who's getting way sciencey over here? You know what's fancy is JPEG. JPEG compression just shows you that computer algorithms don't necessarily make any goddamn sense, because JPEG compression is remarkably effective. But the way the compression works is you create a pattern that you could copy-paste all over the place, so you don't have to keep individual copies or something. Can you tell me how the patterns in JPEG works? Because it just looks like random noise and distortion. And it could be that. It could be that JPEG holds a noise pattern that closely resembles what it is, and then it just mixes the noise patterns together and it makes an image again. I don't know how that would effectively work, but considering that there have been wackier solutions with nonsensical explanations that all trace back to math, might just be it. Just maybe. Man, this place is a lot of Sams. Sam Fisher would be right at home here, because he'd be able to fish and he'd find. Seek and thou will find. Don't forget the SMG's efficiency is primarily found in headshots. It just doesn't work as a spray weapon because it doesn't do sufficient damage. You want to use the machine gun for that one. If you're in the headshot mood, this weapon is great. If you're not, you're better off just tossing rocks. Pick up that rock and toss it like a man, and we'll see how good this ends up. Also, if you're going on a long haul, like you're gonna do a long operation...
Assistance. Send air support.
Really? That's... Okay, I think I know why that happened. I never truly got in the clear, and if you don't truly get in the clear, the game still considers your previous maximum heat, whatever the heat actually is. Meaning that to them... Yeah. Oh great, there's a guy up there, lovely. I hope he had a nice day. To the game, my actual maximum heat during this brawl is still 4 or 5, which is terrible. Please, dear Sir Squire.
Mind if I borrow this?
I am not the son of a bitch. I like how they think I'm taking damage in a giant helicopter. Gosh darn the laws of symmetry. You know what? Apparently they want to play, and if they want to play, then let's play. This gun is just mad once you've upgraded it a bit.
Cover me, I'm going in.
Jeez, I really don't like the spawn mechanics in this game, because they appear to be very much distorted towards the enemy's preference. I wonder how that works. Like, what stops the enemies from spawning? Because in those encampments, you often don't see many respawns. It might just be that there is a limited amount. Like, every base has a certain count of enemies, and once all of those goonies have been exhausted, there just isn't an enemy anymore that can spawn. And otherwise, it will attempt to spawn enemies until it has reached that number. Tip of the day, if you're going to make a recursive method, for the love of God, do not forget your base case, or you will end up with a stack overflow, which is never a pretty sight. Or is it? The answer is, it's not. Also, I wonder how this place works. I think it's entirely dependent on the height you have within the facility itself. Yeah, it's entirely height dependent. There's a timer, but there's also your height, and if you get high enough, the game is like, yeah, you're out of there. Now go eat this bear. It's a delicious bear. Man, that's
fun.
One delicious bear, I tell you. I guess you could say he's... No, I don't think that joke actually works. Anyway, let's go to some other place and have some more fun. Oh my god, what a busy week. Ugh. It's just when I don't get why there's bright splotches. I think it has to do with the texture work, or that this particular texture wasn't properly implemented into the game, so it perceives it as white. Just like the Kinect perceives black people as darkness. Which again, is absolutely hilarious. And here's why. The Kinect not being able to pick up black people basically indicates that the entire test cycle of the Kinect took place in an absurdly bright room, or they never involved anyone that is black. Considering you're dealing with a photosensitive camera, that's a big problem. Because, you know, there are different skin colors. Maybe it considers Asian people very nice rugs. And that's bad. That's something you should... Well, I guess maybe Microsoft expected that no gamer would be black. They were like, oh, everyone that buys an Xbox 360, they're all white dudes. Would have been worse if the machine couldn't detect women because the breasts make it confused. Like, what the hell is that giant lump on that man's chest? That doesn't make any sense. I'm just going to pretend it's not a human being. That would have been just great. That would have not just been discrimination, that would have been sexism right on top of that. And Microsoft probably wouldn't have been able to survive the ensuing lawsuit. You want to know why? Because it's kind of bad when your machine can only detect... Well, this is an optimistic guess. It's very optimistic, in fact. 1/4 of the population? I don't know what the American census looks like. But we'll just assume... No, I don't even think 1/4. But I think it took rather long, you know? Because I don't think that message popped up. Did it pop up at the beginning? I don't know, but I did hear about it. Consider me the worst source of information ever. Not only do I suffer from severe data loss and entropy, but this compression is just disastrous. Honestly, you could be saving a bright white image and it will come out a distorted mess. Everyone's like, what the fuck kind of compression is that? How am I supposed to compress this lovely picture of me and my wife if it comes out looking like a dog that's taking a dump? And everyone's like, you know, that's what you get when you want to cheat the system. And everyone's mildly complacent about it too. That's the worst part. But yeah. Of course, there's a stupid propaganda van. There's always a propaganda van. I hope it tells me how many propaganda vans there are. There are 100 propaganda vans, over 300 locations. Well, actually, 368. Fun fact, in Dutch, we say it the other way around. 368 becomes 380-60. It doesn't work in English very well, but it is the way it's said, and it is just stupid. This also accounts for 2100s and all that. If you learn English, it is probably the biggest and most confusing mess you will ever set foot into, and it's like stepping into a very, very nauseating pile of shit, and it gets stuck on your shoe, and you're like, brrr. I don't even know where it comes from. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you list... And, by the way, this only counts for units and tens. It doesn't count for hundreds, so it's still 101. We don't say 100. 100. We just say 101. We do have 11, 12, 14, 13, but once you get to 20, it becomes 120. Why? It doesn't make any sense in the long scale to have this particular exception for this particular setup of particularities. It's one of those linguistic things that makes me think that the Dutch language was not just a dialect, but invented by a man who doesn't know how a functional language is supposed to be, you know, cropped together. Or it was all stored on a horribly compressed JPEG file, and no one was able to recover it proper. And they were all like, you know what? This looks close enough. Oh, God, of course. Of course. Of course, one of the stupid anchors, or mountains as they're called, would be a bother about this. And now let's watch it tumble down. You know, the only reason those things topple over is because of wind. The higher you are, the stronger the winds become, because there's less stopping and absorbing the wind's impacts. There is no trespasser in the air. Jesus, man, these people have lots of radar. Who was that? Whoever that was, you have a lot of guts. Now you have no guts, because I spilled them on the floor. That's actually... That sounds more visceral than it sounds like anything insulting. More like, whoops, I spilled guts on the floor. Guess I'll have to fix that one later. Really? At your service, buddy. I'm Rico. I wonder if he ever does that. He should. As a terribly racist American stereotype, he should totally be impersonating Rico. And be like, I'm Rico. I'm an hombre. I'm also horribly insensitive. Isn't that just lovely? You see, the reason this gun is so great is that it has great... It is remarkably accurate for what you would expect an SMG to be. Like, how accurate would you estimate an SMG? You'd be like, yeah, it kind of works. But, like, at a certain point, that thing's gonna just not work. But it just keeps working. Like here, you'd expect it becomes a bit of a gambit. No, it keeps working like a dream. I think I'm gonna blow up the sim, and then we're gonna wait a bit for the heat to tamper down, so to speak. 'Cause I don't want to deal with another chopper. I'm also gonna count this one out of the it might just be a home. Might be if it's a little village, we'll do it. Else, no, because we still got these two. I think this is another village. This is not gonna be pleasant. That airport is. That airport is massive, and the collectibles are scattered everywhere, and it's near impossible to do it. I do wonder why with locations with 5 items, it takes 19%, 39. I think it has to do with how binary numbers count percentages, and it's interesting. Do you know the best way to tell the difference between a signed and an unsigned integer? Make it overflow. If it goes back to 0, it's unsigned. If it's signed, it will go back to... I don't know. I think, yeah, signed integer, I think, is for negatives.
You have located
With one of the bits being reserved specifically to indicate if it is negative or positive.
Be careful with it. There is powerful magic within.
Although if you're sneaky, you can set up your own bit array, and you can do all sorts of fancy jazz with that one. There's really, in my opinion, 2 kind of ways you can save stuff. You can save it as pure hard binaries, or you can save it as a text document in which binaries are implemented. I wonder how passwords work in that regard. I mean, you can make segmented passwords that basically are the binary value of themselves. So they're basically binary translated into a set of characters, with every binary character representing several states. But those would be easy to uncover because everything is just a true or not true. Or it could be a hash. It could be a transfer... Something weird's going on, and I think my game is actually corrupted in some degree because they never... Well, actually, he just requested. Nothing has actually happened. There's no chopper in the air yet. Yeah, I think he's just itchy. The announcer's itchy. The announcer is never a great indication of what's really happening because of just that. You know, you'd expect that they'd get better hats. After a period of time, like, Rico keeps scoring headshots, give them better hats. They'll be able to survive the headshots, and then... That'd be great, that'd be cool. Oh, Sutherland! Chem Commander Sutherland. Is that a reference to an actual commander called Sutherland? Sutherland sounds familiar in some regard. Sounds like South... Yep, there's a helicopter at heat level 2. Again, I think something's wrong. Because helicopters don't show up until level 3.
Backup has been sent. ETA 30 seconds.
Or is it backup? Couldn't tell you. I'm very confused as is. No, that's definitely a helicopter. And it's a good helicopter, too. These are very well armored. Everybody down! I'm falling out of the helicopter! And we can blow this stuff up.
Now you're gonna die.
I do like their optimism. Now you're gonna die! I've already signed your testament! And his Declaration of Independence. Don't know why he'd have to sign the Declaration of Independence, considering he's just a man who's shooting me, but... 556 headshots. Jeez. There's lots of pickups. I get the sensation this base was supposed to be larger at first, but a lot of stuff got cut out. What in gracious name did I... Oh, let me guess. I think I know what's going on. I think I know. Yep. Of course. A horse, of course. This would be here. That's probably why they phoned in air support.
Need assistance. Send air support.
In case you wonder, that thing actually goes back down after a bit.
Going out on the flank.
And that should finish off the area.
Let's see them communicate.
That was a bit of a tough nut to crack, I'll confess. That base had its stuff set up proper. And at the end of the day, we're so close to the end. So yeah, you might be wondering why it happens that when you get to their maximum value that it overflows. It has to do with there not being a guard or some sort of protection that stops the system from counting too far. So essentially, whenever you add a binary number, what you do is, if you encounter a 1, you make it a 0, and you go to the next bit. That's how binary essentially works, is you transfer the 1 until you reach 0. If you're at the maximum value, you're dealing with all 1s, and then everything becomes a 0. That 1 vanishes, because there is no next bit to go to, and now you end up with all 0s. And in a signed situation, you end up with a negative number, because the signed bit goes to its opposite value. So that's super wacky. It has some really weird problems, but it does, again... Was that a strange piano? There was a piano in there, and I have no idea why the piano was there. But yeah, binary is a wacky language. Man, I really like computers. Computers make sense. Computers aren't like humans. They aren't wacky. They aren't all emotional. Not that I prefer to be non-emotional. I just prefer that emotion was less involved in professional situations. Like, they don't care that you show up in a suit. They just care if your resume looks impressive enough. But then again, what would happen to nepotism? Our good old friend nepotism, ruining people's lives since 1990, before Christ, I guess. And even before that, nepotism was a thing. It's the sad... Oh, we're dealing with a 5. Yeah, because it shows 19, and I think 19... it's close enough to 14 to confuse me. So what's the what's the hubbub? Oh, there's an item on this side of the field. I really like grappling hooks so much. It's such a great way to get around. It's impressive. You can zip over to the other side of town in a jiffy. You can, you can write a tax return in a couple of minutes. Oh yes, I am going to collect all these little white splotches on the map. At 75%, I'm just going to say fuck it, because there's probably lots of scattered loose items that I don't want to look for, but I do intend to get everything that's visible on the map, which unfortunately includes the stupidest things in the world, the dumbass oil platforms. Look at them. So it doesn't look like much, but those things, they wear down quickly. They wear down quickly, and then they're just a chore. You know, it might sound like this is a chore. No, I'm having fun. It's just that I'm not always too verbal. Oh yeah, we stopped by here to blow up their tower. If you blame me for that... Oh! No, that's the tower that decides to... It's a tower that already blew up that doesn't know it's blown up yet, and it's like, was I blown up? Gonna have to check my journal about that one. Logbook. Am I there you go. Yes, I am blown up. Give me a moment. And then he just blows up. Everyone's like, that guy took a sweet-ass time. You piece of crap!
Need assistance. Send air support.
Yeah, there's something weird, because he keeps calling an air support whenever I trigger heat level number 2. It might just be that I have so much chaos that I don't know. I've never read about it, and it never tells you. But it's entirely possible that once you reach a certain heat level, it just elevates things. They were all going for the same piece of cover, which meant that they all just piled up into this big, massive human.
Requesting air support.
Pop goes the pilot. Pop goes the pilot.
Requesting air support.
Jesus Christ, this man's called for air support like 3 times by now. They're like, you know what? How about we just...
Air support now.
How about we just bomb it with a nuke, because you've called in for choppers 4 different times. Give me that. Thank you, sir.
You can run, but you can't hide.
You can run, but you can't hide.
There he goes.
I'm not sitting this through. Come on, sit down. The psych, you are in the... Psych's fun. It's good enough. Truth be told, I don't watch a lot of series, so I'm not a good source of information on that regard. I'm not a source of information for anything pop culture related. Because I don't really care about pop culture. It's such a wacky thing, such a human thing. And I don't understand humans all that well. Everything I know about emotions is essentially learnt. And I mean, like, literally learnt. Every time I deal with some douche in his emotions, I have to write that shit down on a piece of paper. Thanks for reminding me that I need to clean my fan, Asus. That's no reason to interrupt my game, though. I'd say okay just to get rid of it, but I know that I'll forget it then. And then I won't clean my fan, and you should clean your fan. A good clean fan contributes to a good healthy computer, as they say. What is this item?
I'm moving in.
Hands up! He's holding your gun! Fire! Fire! Use grenade! Alright! I see the target! Cover me, that's what I need!
I'm moving in.
Move out!
I wonder if he has a clear shot. You should RSVP me that. Do you have a clear shot? S'il vous plaît. Ha! Listen to me and my French, I'm so fancy. Oh. All I need is that dumbass arrow, and I know exactly what time of the day it is. It's Halloween time! The time of year when Halloween's a thing. Oh look, I have maximum heat. Aren't I just a hunk of junk? Oh, and if you thought this was just full of stuff, it's
Backup team on the way!
kind of gonna get worse. That big, fancy, flashy airport, like I said, it's super huge, and I'm gonna be building up heat because people are like, hey, there he is. And every time they say, hey, there he is, they basically add a little bit of heat. I think I've actually gotten to heat level 5 simply because they kept seeing me and unseeing me, and they're sort of cheating the system, and they're like, we'll get our attack helicopters, nyah! I hate windmills. I don't find them interesting targets, they're just sort of there. Let's land on top of it, it'll be hilarious. Jesus Christ, Rico. I thought I could trust you with this one. It's a helicopter, isn't it? It's the helicopter, of course. That's for blowing me up, you schmuck.
Force chopper arriving shortly.
For the glory of Panau!
Oh, there's Virgilio. Hey Virgilio, hope you liked it. This one's on the house, so to speak. I am the cavalry. Oh, that's Transformer. Gonna blow that one up early.
Time to die!
Air support on the way. ETA 30 seconds.
I'm gonna get rid of this heat, and we'll see what I'll do next. Because this is, making my back itch, so to speak. See you then. You know what? I've learned something today. Don't flee to the sea! For one, their boats are annoying as fuck, and you'll be jumping from... Well, actually, that was pretty cool. They kept jumping from helicopter to helicopter in a massive sprawl. It was exciting, adventurous. Kinda made me giggle. I was jumping from helicopter to helicopter because each time I got in a helicopter, the boats and the helicopters had already damaged it so much that it was about to explode. Truth be told, I can't even talk in my room without people just freaking out. You know what would be delicious? To live in an anaerobic environment. You know what's great for being quiet? The lack of air. I think that when the opportunity arises, I'm going to move to space. It's not even going to be a question. I don't want to live in a world where people can hear me. In fact, the benefits of an anaerobic environment are much greater. You'll never suffer stinky feet, because there's no air to transfer the stinkiness. Although, actually, you'd probably stink through your suit. But everyone's wearing a helmet. And when everyone's wearing a helmet, who's to say? But yeah, the boat spawning is incredibly annoying, and it's near impossible to get a moment for yourself. Which is another reason I dislike oil platforms, is because it's near impossible to get rid of them. It was exciting, though. I should have actually kept recording, because that moment was just fantastic. Have you ever seen the movie going up a hill, coming down a mountain? It's about a bunch of British people in a British village who said, oh, we have a mountain in our village, and it wasn't really a mountain, it was actually a hill, so they decided to increase its height by dumping stuff on top of it, and it ultimately became a mountain. And it's a very sad story because people died, but it was apparently supposed to be a funny movie. Yeah, each of those bullets went straight through the head of a pilot, mind you. A pilot who was strangely insistent on keeping his life. Alright, there's that. Yeah, it's this over here. Yeah, I keep wanting to say that that the collectibles are placed completely arbitrarily, but that collectible pretty much proves that someone had to put that down, because yes, you can attempt to just slap them on some figurines, but that's a pretty good placement. Oh, we didn't even complete the area. That's worthy of a medal. I'm gonna say that's hilarious, and I just chuckled. The very fact that that just happened, and I still didn't get what I wanted. Such excitement. I love it. My heart's racing, though. Though unlike with the stress of a school week, it's like, oh yeah. Oh baby. My ass hurts, though. Ugh. Because of the seat. I think I'm gonna go for it's super sunny outside. I burn up like a crisp. I know I'm not albino, I just don't like the sun. I don't like summer sun. I'm perfectly fine with winter sun, spring sun, autumn or fall sun is also fine with me. But I really don't like summer sun, because it's like I'm gonna burn you like a crisp. You, sir, are a peep, and I am the microwave. If you don't know what a peep is, it's an American snack. It's arbitrarily delicious, which makes it the weirdest thing in the world. I like how I missed something. What did I miss? Was it a collectible? A destructible? Did I rub someone's foot the wrong way?
Located. All units attack on site.
Look at that. I get 1/4 of a... Oh! I missed a little destructible goonie thing. Great. And it healed because I was away. But yeah, I got like 1/4 of the bar simply for appearing at a location. That's impressive. But we're almost done conquering the mountain. And that's like a moment that makes me say, Phantasmagoria. Maybe enemy spawns just get worse as you get more health. That makes sense. You have more health, you're a tough guy, you can take it. Now smile while I shiv you. And you're like, yeah, whatever. They should put a fence. Why isn't there a fence? You'd think that a big, important military airport would get a fence. Nope. It's just like, don't go over there. We won't stop you, but we want you to pinky swear. They hold up their pinky and like, come on, just pull it. Give me a pinky swear. Come on. Okay, so it doesn't even count as the airport. You know, you should include all of your runway in the airport schematics. You're gonna get a lot of legal troubles if you don't. I'm not even kidding. Oh, if you'd believe me, there's actually a statue outside of it.
Enemy located. All units attack on site.
Maybe instead I use a machine gun. No. It's like a guy with a revolver. I think you could take. I think you wouldn't be calling in air support for a guy like that. But a guy who's cruising around town with a big fancy machine gun, I think I'd call it a chopper. Let's see if my theory holds any water. Oh, I just love that. See if it holds water. What is it, a water skin?
Take cover! Move out! Move out!
Of course there'd be a biofuel gas canister. Of fucking course. You know what? I was looking forward to taking down the airport, but this... Why would they even have that? They're an airport. Last time I checked, all airplanes run on kerosene, and kerosene is a gasoline-based product. And these things are clearly identified as gas towers. Why would they want one of these if maybe their cars drive on gas? You know, to save the kerosene. But I think that kerosene is a byproduct of the distillation process, and thus you can't make it out of gasoline. I don't know. Please don't ask me about octane. I don't know what octane is. I just know that during the distillation process, certain octanes go up and certain octanes go down. Watch out, he's an SMG. I do like how meleeing them causes them to tip over. I would. If a giant grappling hook were to smack me across the cheek, I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna bother with this for a bit. Look at that reload speed. Oh, I thought it was a pistol.
He's over there!
I run. Run! Oh. I hope that guy gets fired during the next review. Maybe it was me blowing up the biofuel gas canister that made them call in air support. Oh, now I have 4. I do recommend you run, because I am an overloader. I don't know what that means, I just do it. Can you imagine someone's like, here, this is your job, and then never explains you what your job actually is, and you're like, really? A skull this close to a base, that's unique. Look at that money.
Another one of our revered skulls, Sir Dadu.
Be most careful with it. There is powerful magic within. Yeah, we're gonna wait this one out. Or we can go back. We've already got 47%. You know, I make the mistake towards English, towards Dutch more than I make the mistake towards English. So I'm much more likely to say 47 just like that in Dutch than the other way around. I mean, again, why would you do that? That's not how you write numbers.
Hang in there. Backup is arriving shortly.
You know, the fact that they've lost, that I'm losing heat, means that obviously they're losing track and interest in me. Meaning that whoever's in charge of the operation is saying, we're not going to keep doing this. Why would you send in backup if you're saying the operation is going to get cancelled? Effectively, what you're implying is that as long as the threat may or may not exist, you're going to do something about it. Which means that any theoretical phantom threat would instigate the promise of sending an air support. Which is a bit of a weird philosophy for a military that's trying to oppress the people and not exterminate hitmen. Yeah, that puts a drain on my gun ammo. And once my heat runs out, all the counters reset. And all I have to do is get myself in the clear, and we'll wait for a couple of seconds. Maybe I'll eat some of those Lion Pop Shocks. What a moist and humid and warm day. I hate it. Especially since it's only May.
We have a visual. Requesting backup.
I wonder if they really have a visual, but it's just like, you know, something just blew up, might as well pretend. Safety first. Pinky swear. I just love the notion of a pinky swear. It's like, the pinky serves no purpose, might as well make it a promise device. It's an interesting implication. What purpose? Oh yeah, in Japanese culture, the pinky is considered the swordsman's grip thing. So getting your pinky cut off is considered horrible, since effectively you've lost a big part of your grip. Isn't that just fun? Learning about cultures every day. It's butters. I wonder what it contributes as a gang color. It's probably not red, because they're all wearing red. Quite flamboyantly. They're wearing more red than what's-her-face from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Jessica Rabbit? I think it's Jessica Rabbit. Heat's staying down this time. Very glad with that. We're almost done. I have to say, I thought this base was bigger and more spacious and had many more things to do, but it seems like the base is highly concentrated around a few easy destructible objects that are so reachable. There really isn't much of an art to it. It's too big. Because it's so big, it's impossible for the enemies to properly track and detect you, meaning that you can never build up the heat as long as you keep your distance and know what you're doing.
Hey, you! Stop there!
I like how he starts shooting and then he's like, hey you, stop there. Hey you, man I just shot. How about you listen to me now? I I think that when you shoot a person, they by definition are listening in some degree. Or to some extent. There's nothing in there. It's probably not a collectible. It's probably some generator or thing that didn't blow up. Or it's a SAM. Haven't seen any SAMs, have we? That's strange, because SAMs are kind of a thing you'd be... Oh my god, it's an Eclipse. It's the sexy ship. You'd kind of expect a SAM around an airport, you know, to keep the airspace clean and fresh and fruity and filled with that chocolatey, minty, fresh smell. Oh, no, it's a collectible. Guess I must have skimmed over it. If you want a nice summer for a steal. I don't know what it is in English. Oh my god. Finally! We're done. We're done. What's our money at? Wow. I'm smoldering and or bacon. That was a long mission, long day. I'm done. I'll see you guys next time. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend. 2%. I can agree to that number. Next time we'll take it easy. We'll just do a couple of these. Just some small villages. You know, keep it nice and small. Not too much.